Hi, Adrian. Nice to see you today.
Nice to see you too.
And thanks for having us in your lovely office in this lovely part of London.
You're very welcome.
So, you found your digital analytics agencies in Mezzo Labs in 2006. Would you mind sharing with us about your journey?
Sure, yes. Back in 2006, I'd made a bold decision to go it alone and start my own company. Just to start with, it was me as a contractor working in digital marketing for just one client, and then I kind of developed it from there and grew it sort of piece by piece. So over the last 15 years, it's been quite a journey, but we've built up a large agency here in the UK. We expanded into Hong Kong about 3 years ago. We opened an office in Singapore last year, and we're now starting to develop software products. So yeah, we've been lucky. The market has been good to us. There's lots of demand for what we do. Yeah, it's a roller coaster ride, as it always is with running companies, but generally good.
So Adrian, you start Mezzo Labs with a goal of changing the world of analytics. So how do you summarize what have you done so far, and what is the change in terms of the space since you began?
Obviously, there's a balance in there between what the customers want and what we'd like to do. So you can't just change the world of analytics if you have no customers to do it. But when we saw the way that they were approaching analytics, we could see that although in theory there were lots of exciting things that they could do, in practice they were very difficult to implement within organizations. And mostly it was to do with their people and their processes, not really the technology. So the way that we've approached analytics is we've tried to make it easier for people to use, because if it's too high-tech and too sophisticated, then you'll have a few kind of hardcore analysts using it, but the rest of the business will not use it.
So Adrian, we've just discussed, you basically help digital marketers to turn data into insight and help them understand their customers. So could you describe the process to us?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing we do is we have to go with the end users, with the marketers, and say, how do you measure performance in your business? What are your key performance indicators, your KPIs? Very often they think they know what they are, but they don't really know, or maybe they have KPIs that aren't particularly useful. So we have to kind of really home in on that and say, what is it? How do you measure performance? Is it number of sales? Is it the average order value? Is it your conversion rate? Is it your cost per sale? And so we try and drill in on what their KPIs actually are, and then we bring the data together, and usually we just present it back to them in a dashboard, so that at least now they can measure what they're doing.
So Adrian, the amount of the volume of data is limitless these days. So how do you focus on the information that is truly relevant to your clients, that make it useful for them?
It's a very good question, because I think when we started doing this, we thought there was a lot of data, but it's nothing compared to what we can get our hands on these days. But still, it is a problem to work out, of all this data that we've got, how much can we use? How much of it is also good data? You know, there's a lot of what we call dirty data in there, which basically is like mistakes, inaccuracies, things that need to be tidied up and sorted out. So but you start with a big chunk of data, and very quickly you realize that you can only actually use a subset of that. So in some ways, looking at what the business needs and working back from that is the best way to identify, oh, we only need these pieces of data and we can pull that together.
So Adrian, as we all know, for the last 19 to 20 months, it has brought lots of challenges to businesses around the world. And how has Mezzo adapted?
It has been tough. There's no two ways about it. Even though we're in generally a good market, digital during lockdown has not suffered like, say, travel or entertainment or things like that. But it has been tough, because when our clients decide to cut back, then of course they've got little money to spend with us. And we do have clients in the travel sector, we have clients in the entertainment sector, but so that has been difficult. The immediate shock was, how do we cope with remote working? And because mostly people would come into this office or into a Hong Kong office to do their analytics work. But when it was announced that we all had to work from home, people picked up their laptops, they went home, they connected, and we didn't notice any difference in terms of their performance.